On ollut myös hyvässä vireessä. Kakkospaikka oli tuolla keskiviikon lyhennetyssä normaalikilpailussa ja Halvasonan oli myös korkeammalla podiumilla sitten tuossa avauspäivänä viime lauantaina. Viikko sitten, kun kilpailtiin Pariisin miettiin numerotoitunnan Niitosen Hauserin pitää valottaa. On ollut tasoista vedossa henkilökohtaisessa kilpailussa.
Jes, kyllä, keltainen.
3760. Ja 260.
Punaliivi numero 2, saitteko?
Joo, thank you.
Oli punaliivi 2.
Ja 513. Ja numero on 000.
Thanks.
Oli jo. Ja 425. Ei mennyt eilen päätötutu.
Mitä?
Ei mennyt eilen
No niin, hyvä.
Ja numero on 615.
615.
Thank you.
Jes, just näin.
Ja 943.
Thanks. 4, 3,
Thank you.
3, 4. Thank you.
Kilpailussa päineen 14 sijaan. Kokonaissaldo on, että ottaa varmasti tähän yhteislähtöön. Nuorekappainen ja Anna pitää vallassa 25 valinnassa. Oleva 26 Elvin Yhdysvallat 27 Ruotsi 28 Pro Randy Norja. Ja sitten Kiinan talouden maailmankapin
perusteella mukaan vielä pääsivät numero 29 Julia Timon oli parasta maailmankapin kokonaistaulussa urheilijaa myös sitten.
Welcome back to Kontiolahti for the final day of action and indeed our final race here in East Finland's Karelia region. It's the women's 12.5 kilometre mass start, and after some big surprises in the sprint yesterday, we are in for a treat this evening as we take a look at the course. Alongside myself, Elena Ellard, is Chad Salmela, former Team USA biathlete. And Chad, well, the last time that we will take a look at this course this season, and as we mentioned before, the men's race slightly unique in terms of having a mass start in the first race week of the season.
Yeah, it creates a whole different kind of start order and kind of an unexpected one. The top 15 of the first two races overall World Cup standings that figures into the short individual and yesterday's sprint competition will take this start order, and then the remainder of the 15 will be those who are ranked in the highest from last season's World Cup standing who have not made the top 15 so far this year. So a very unique group, but one exciting thing about this start order, 10 women of the 30, 25 are under, so a kind of a youth movement in the women's as well as the men's competition. We saw Eric Perot, the youngster, win the men's. Can one of these women come in, step in, one of these younger women come in, step up and win their first mass start tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see there a little birthday cake next to Suvi Minkanen. She is indeed 30 today, celebrated yesterday with a podium. And well, such a quick turnaround. I'm sure it'll be after this race and into the start of next week that she'll have a proper opportunity to celebrate that 30th birthday. And yeah, as Chad mentioned there, 10 athletes under either 25 or under. Suvi Minkkinen, of course, 30 years old, celebrating that birthday today. Who have you been most impressed by this week so far, Chad?
Well, I think if you look at the overall percentage, you have to look at the yellow bib leader, Elvira Öberg. She's been third and second. She hasn't won yet this year over 2 races individually. She's performed well in the relays, but she needs to clean up her shooting a little bit if she wants a victory here today. She is going to be the fastest skier on the snow. There's nobody really giving her a run for her money who shoots well. Really only Anna Maria Lampic, the Slovenian, skiing anywhere near that fast, but she's not even in the start order because her shooting has kept her out of it. So it's really Öberg. She's got the speed on the course, and it's all a question of how many she hits or misses. And then there's a whole host of women who could step into that victory spot. I'd say my second choice would be Lou Jean Monod. She's been so consistent. Had a little bit of a struggle yesterday in the sprint competition, finished 17th, but she is missed consistency. So I say Jean Monod and Öberg are the two to watch.
And there is Elvira Öberg in the yellow bib, matching that Swedish kit nicely. Next to her, Lou Jean Monod in the red bib, of course, the discipline winner last season. And there is Franziska Preuss, and Chad, someone I know that you've been very excited about her performances this week.
She is my sentimental favorite. I would love to see nothing more than the German get a win today.
Well, it'd be great if she gets on the podium. She's had, 2 fourth place finishes, one of them in the relay and a 5th place as well across the 2 individuals. Here's Suvi Minkkinen on her 30th birthday, a big smile on her face. What an incredible performance on home snow, boosted, of course, over the weekend, this weekend in particular, with it being a national holiday, the home crowd in a great voice. And Ella Halvarsson wearing bib number 6. She also had her first podium. Individual podium where she topped the sprint relay, the single mixed relay with Sebastian Samuelsson, and then was on the podium for the first time in the short individual. Just 1 penalty. Jean Michelon in the blue bib, now an under 23 competition.
Yeah, Ocean getting her experience level increasing very quickly this week in Kontiolahti. I have to point out, somebody who's been sneakingly good this week that we haven't really called a lot of is Lisa Theresa Hauser. She's been 6th and 8th, and she has won. She has Hauser has, I'm just trying to check my stats here, she has 2 victories in this discipline in her career. So we haven't called her number. We've got to watch her as a dark horse from Austria.
Yeah, just 1 miss in her 2 individual competitions here in Kontiolahti. As we are primed and ready to go, our final race here in East Finland. And we are underway. 1 last race here in Kontiolahti, the women's mass start. And it's a fast start from Franziska Preuss, who with that inside line goes into the lead. Elvira Öberg wearing the yellow bib and has been surely the most consistent athlete on the women's side of things this week.
Preuss, arguably the second fastest of the group. She's definitely one of the fastest in the field with Lampic out. But we'll see if Öberg at the spear, tip of the spear right now in that yellow bib, if she's going to actually take it out fast in this first loop, or just try to make sure that she gets the shots down. But certainly Preuss is willing to chase her. Preuss looking very fit at the early part of the season, and you know, she just misses the podium. She missed the podium in the sprint yesterday by 1/10 of a second. She's really all there.
Yeah, 2 flower ceremonies in the 2 individual events so far for Franziska Preuss, and looking longingly at the podium. She's such a likeable character. She's overcome so much in the course of her career. 30 years old, she's had to end her last 2 seasons early through health reasons, including a sinus surgery. She made a good start to last season, and she's looking in good form once again as we begin the BMW IBU 2024-25 World Cup season.
Little idiosyncratic insider look there. You can tell you're in Finland because that track they came down that's cut into the snow is wider than a normal track. Finnish track setters, it's kind of the standard in Finland. I've never seen it anywhere else, but it's about a 3 or 4 centimeter wider track. They widen the track down to give these athletes more stability. Just a note, insider's note on the course preparation. Everybody close together still, just 2 seconds separating the top 7. Not surprising. Nobody's kind of looked for a second there, Ellen, like Öberg was going to take it out quickly, but she's quickly reeled it back in and just kind of going at a pedestrian pace. You point out the lone American in the field, Dieter Irwin, starting with bib 25. Only North American on the start order for this women's mass start.
And we have dipped into our reserve athletes as well, wearing bib number 28, Amy Baserga of Switzerland. That is because Ingrid Landmark-Tandervold, who was due to be on the start line, she will not participate in the mass start today, of course, but also in the next round of World Cup in Hockfilzen. That is because her team and the doctor in the Norwegian women's elite team confirming that she needs some rest after episodes of rapid heartbeat, and they said they're in contact with a cardiologist to assess the best way forward. So of course our best wishes to Ingrid and of course the Norwegian team as well.
Yeah, she's dealt with this before. It's not the first time this has happened, so it's not quite as maybe surprising would be the word, but I caught word of it and we talked about it yesterday that she'd stopped at the top of a couple of hills because of irregular heartbeats, and it's definitely unnerving to have that happen. In the past they've considered her safe to race, but clearly they want to be very sure. Anything that has to do with the heart, you have to be very, very careful with. This entire sport really predicated on heart health. So we wish her a speedy recovery and a safe recovery.
Yeah, of course, our best wishes, and we look forward to seeing her back on the circuit as the athletes come towards the noise of the wall.
You have to start at the back of the field if you're bib 29. Julia Simone got into this server because of last year's standing. She's done nothing spectacular to speak of this week's in Kontiolahti, but there she is, bib 29, right near the front. There she is on the right side there. So Simone making her presence known. Remains to be it's a smart move by her or not.
Yeah, 2 podiums last season for Julia Simone as they fight their way up the wall, and that includes a victory in Antholz. She was second in Oslo behind Lena Gross.
Yeah, one of the masters of this discipline. She has 4 victories. Dorothea Elvira in the start order has 4. Elvira Öberg has 4. The woman with the most victories in this discipline is Justine Braissard-Boucher. She has been missing a lot of targets this week, so she's not on her best shooting form. But Braissard-Boucher can be a lightning rod. She can show up in many different forms, and I would not be surprised to see Braissard-Boucher emerge towards the front of the field.
It will be the yellow bib of Elvira Öberg who will go over this bridge and slope and will come down into the range, leading the way, followed, as you said rightly there, by bib number 29, Julia Simon. Franziska Preuss back there in third, and there you can see the blue bib of Oceane Michelon.
Yeah, we shouldn't understate the difficulty of moving through 27 athletes from the back of the field to the front of the field. That takes some energy, but you can see now Elvira Öberg testing the field. Are you going to chase me? I'm going to try to string you out a little bit and use a little bit of my ski power to make you shaky on the shooting range, and a little bit of daylight opening up now between her and the rest of the field.
So coming into the range for the first time, the 2 rounds of prone shooting, 2 rounds of standing shooting.
Again, first shooting stage done on your bib number, so the yellow bib will go to .1, and everybody else shooting on their bib number. Now, Julia Simone should get her first shot well ahead of everybody else because she's on bib 29. She'll lay down right as she enters the range, and she's already started shooting.
Yep, she will of course have further to come out. You can hear the shots going down.
audible score. It sounded like Simone had a miss.
Good start from Öberg. Preuss goes 4 for 4 as a miss for Elvira Öberg, and Preuss misses on the last. Davidova with a miss as well. Minkinen 4 for 4. Richard has gone clean, Norton's gone clean, Minkinen now clean. You can hear the roar from the crowd. House is clean as well. Sala Andersson, one of the exciting Swedes, also clean. Brecha Boucher improving her shooting. Kremus and Lee as well going clean.
Look at there, Suvi Minkinen.
Well, would you believe it? On her 30th birthday, what a story this would be.
I've got goosebumps from that time check. That's great.
Well, we saw how much things could chop and change in the men's race. But Suvi Minkinen leading the way, which is 1 second. Richard in second place. Lena Haki-Gross in third.
15 clean shooting stages on 16 of the 30 are clean. And 2 misses for Davidova, the winner of the sprint competition. She's near the back of the field as Anna Stremus, I believe, is the next one to come through.
Well, what a contrast this is to the start of the men's race, where we saw plenty falter with their first visit to the range. There is the miss from Elvira Öberg.
Yeah, over half the field clean so far through stage 1, and Minkinen showing she is in some great shape on her birthday. You gotta love that.
We love to see it, the crowd love to see it, you could hear it. And we will hear as they, of course, make their way back round to the wall. Those who are camped out there, well, they'd love to see her round the corner and start to fight her way up that slope in the lead.
Minkinen and Richard. Jean Richard, a junior star, has 5 silver medals and a 6th bronze from the Junior World Championships just 2 years ago. But, you know, still making a splash on the senior circuit, one of the youth movement here. She's moved to the front of the field.
She has, you can see Suvi Minkinen now tucked back in 5th. The 2 Germans in there, Voigt and Tannheimer.
Actually, I think it's Brecha Boucher at the front in bib 22. She's moved up. I think the young Richard is tucked back in the field, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is Brecha Boucher at the front.
Yep, you're right there, bib number 22.
And then number 16 for Germany, that's Vanessa Voigt.
Yep, Vanessa Voigt, and in the mix as well.
I think this is smart for Suvi Minkinen in bib number 5 on the radio screen, just to let the faster skiers take off. She's got a good start. She's among the leaders. If she can just keep the shooting rolling on the range, doesn't matter how fast you ski these loops, as long as you're in contact with the lead.
Keep your eyes on bib number 14 as well, Julia Tannheimer of Germany, 19 years old. A brilliant 6th place in the sprint, her first flower ceremony.
Hannah Öberg coming through. Elvira Öberg was 16 seconds back after the first shooting. Now she's 11 seconds back at 3.7 kilometers, so already 5 seconds gained on the leaders. There's Dieter Irwin, bib 25, sitting in 29th position.
Marketa Davidova as well. No mass start victories, but of course that huge victory yesterday. And she's incredibly fast, but she does find herself quite some way back. We'll have to rely on that skiing.
We talked about it, Ellen, during the men's race. The dynamic of a mass start or even a pursuit is you can't miss more than 1 shot in a single shooting stage, and you certainly don't want to miss 2 in the first 2 stages because it puts you at the back of the field. And the same thing at the last 2 stages. The dynamic is really building in the last 2 standing stages, and if you miss 2 in a single stage and have to go around that loop twice without getting that, you kind of get out of the flow of the river, so to speak, and you really don't have a chance to fight back because the dynamic is so tough to ski by yourself.
So at the last checkpoint, 3.7 kilometers, the top 16 were within 10 seconds of our leader, Justine Brecha Boucher. That's a Voigt. Well tucked in there. No mass start podiums for Vanessa Voigt.
Leaving at the 3.7 kilometer mark, the only athletes with The first athletes with a miss each are Julia Simone in 16th and Francisca Close in 17th. They're just 10 and 11 seconds back though, so they're in the back of this group and back in the main field.
Lou Jean-Monod back in 22nd, 1 miss to her name. In the red bib. Michelle Boucher, 3.9 seconds ahead of Voigt, and look at Tannheimer. Well, what an exceptional performance this would be from the still teenage star. Still a long way to go though. There is Lou Jean-Monod.
At this point with the miss or without one, you just want to find your rhythm. And now Justine Brassard-Boucher, clean from the first stage, went out conservatively, I would say, on the skis, and now the young Tannheimer, bib 14, trying to make up the gap. She's chasing, taking the bait of the wily veteran.
Keep your eyes on the 19-year-old. The hunger well and truly lit inside her for that podium after her first flower ceremony yesterday.
Yeah, thanks for correcting me. She's 19. I thought she was 18. But you're right, 19 years old. Still a teenager, though.
Exactly. It's quite incredible. And she's really just shown improvement after improvement, particularly in her shooting.
So Brassard-Boucher charges off on her own. Her shooting stats not to her favor. Currently 77% after this first week of competition. 70% prone, 83% standing. So she's shooting better from the standing stage. She's just got to try to hold it together. She's perfect from prone the first time. She's got 2 Germans on her heels, but she's got daylight between them.
Yeah, and this is a competition, an event she's performed so well in the past, the 2022 Mass Start Globe winner.
And the Olympic champion from 2022 in this discipline. She didn't do much at the Olympics, was struggling with shooting, then came back in the final day of the Olympic Games and shot clean and won in dominating style. When she's on, she is spectacular.
She's actually a 5% better shooter in the mass start. Keep her eyes on her. Takes her time to get going in this second prone shoot. 2 for 2 though, as is Norton and Simon. Voigt now 2 for 2, 3 for Norton, 4 for Norton. And Norton goes clean. Sala Anderson does as well, and Brassard-Boucher clean, Preuss is clean, House is clean. Jean-Monod clean as well. First miss for Halverson. Minkkinen clean.
A little better shooting that stage. A lot of zeros coming out. Veer comes out in second, 2.9 back. Hauser, Brassard-Boucher, Arneklev having a good start.
Yeah, only Arneklev climbing up the order. She was starting big number 30. The disappointment in her individual events this week.
There's Simone, just out of the top half of the field.
One miss for Tannheimer sees her drop down the order into 19th. Elvira up into second. And so Talisa Hauser as well. Someone you marked as one to watch before the race started, Chad.
Yeah, Hauser is just kind of one of those athletes who can sneak a win like this away. When everybody's watching the favorites, Hauser skis fast enough, but she doesn't ski fast enough when everybody's clean. She's not going to take the win. But if there are multiple misses, and she is the clean one, she can definitely win. And she's in that lead group now, the Austrian.
Yeah, the yellow bib, Elvira Öberg, dropping down to 18th. 2 misses to her name now. She's 29.2 seconds behind the pace. CV Minkkinen in 11th.
She can certainly bring that back, can Öberg, but she can't afford at least. She's going clean would be perfect, and even she could probably still sustain a miss and still ski herself back into this race. But a lot of the question is what will Justine Brassard-Boucher do, because she's clean and she can match Öberg on the skis. I just don't think Brassard-Boucher is giving it 100% on the skis yet, trying to hold her shooting together.
Yeah, 5 seconds separating the top 5. And that has now become 7, really, this leading pack with Anna Magnusson and Sala Anderson. The two Swedes who both shot clean. Just behind in 6th and 7th. Charles as well, not far off that group, and Vanessa Voigt travelling with her.
Norton with just 3 podiums for her career, no victories. And she's at the front of the field. She'd love to get her first win. And this mass start is a format that I think she could do it in as long. Again, she needs other people to miss, and she needs to be perfect.
Well, how frequently have we seen this? Just seen Brachard Boucher back to the front.
And Dorothea Vera looking good. Watching her pushes, Vera looks snappy with her kicks. Sign that she's on good form today.
Norton and Anna Clive, the two Norwegians, in 3rd and 4th. There's the yellow bib. Elvira Öberg down in 15th. 22.6 seconds off the pace.
Last victory for Vera was back in Östersund of 2022-23. So this time last year, she won the mass start in the opening weekend of World Cup competition in the 23 season. So that's 2 seasons ago, excuse me, 2022-23 season.
Ella Halverson down in 25th. Also 2 penalty loops.
Yeah, Halverson, you can see, is clearly in good ski shape, but the 2 misses is keeping her out of the race. It's about a 22 to 24 second penalty loop. She's 54 back. That math computes. And Dieter Irwin in 28th for the United States. 1 miss so far on the day.
Back to our leaders, and Justine Brachard-Boucher, followed closely by Dorothea Vera, wearing bib number 21. And behind then, Anna Clive, followed closely by her compatriot.
Pretty steady stream of athletes, all the way down to 13th in a gap to 14th with the lead, but now on to the wall they go, and will Brachard-Boucher force the issue? Testing the Italian.
And we saw Carolina Norton really bounce back well from the short individual. Could we be seeing the same from Anna Clive? 75th in the sprint, 55th in the short individual.
Anna Clive, she wouldn't have a point this season yet if it wasn't for last season's performance. That's how she got into this race.
And that, you imagine, a big motivator.
Absolutely. She wants to get her season going, and she's doing just that. Even if she doesn't hold together, at least it's a good start. She's clean through 2 stages. That's something positive to take away.
We're not in the top half of the results pages so far in the 2 individual races before this one. There's a brief look at Davidova. On the blue bib wearer, 1 penalty, 31.4 seconds down on the leader.
What a difference a day makes is Davidova back kind of at the back of the group now.
And the gap opening up for Brachard-Boucher. 4.3 seconds. Dorothea Vera was down at 6.9 kilometers.
Have to remember that the standing position is the better of the 2 positions for the French leader by almost 10%.
And she's given herself probably about 10 meters of space there.
%83% so far this season for your leader in the standing position. A 7% faster than the average time of the ski field so far this year. She is flying on the skis, and I don't think we're seeing the best of her skiing yet. I think that this is a sort of a tempo workout, so to speak, for Brachard-Boucher to ensure that the standing shooting is composed.
A 6-second advantage on Dorothea Vera as she comes into shooting our first standing shoot for the women, the third visit to the range. And a miss for Bréchard Boucher. She'll be off around the penalty loop. And she'll be going round at least twice. Can she calm the nerves? Dorothea Vera, 4 for 4. And Vera goes clean. Dorothea Vera will leave the range in the lead. Bréchard Boucher will have to do 300 metres of the penalty loop. Hannah Clive and Norton as well, also going round the loop. Richard will have one loop to do, as will Lujan Minot. Elvira Öberg, clean though.
Preuss will chase in second, I believe, yes. And then Anna Magnusson from Sweden sneaks into third. You have one miss for Preuss. She's skiing great and is in second place. Despite a miss, Simone moves into fourth with 2 penalties on the day. And she's ahead of Elvira Öberg. Same shooting.
We have seen some really good performances from Dorothea Vera, particularly in the relay. The fastest, second fastest of leg 3, I believe it was. It was a really strong skiing performance, just 4.4 behind the eventual winner of that leg, who took home the prize money. Those flashes of inspiration have been there for Dorothea Vera, and we are seeing it come together. 8.9 seconds, she leads Franziska Preuss. Anna Magnusson now.
Oh, just looking at Arne Clive standing there, her first miss was a good 8-10 centimeters out of the range. Just a complete miss of the shot. But anytime you see Dorothea Vera do what she does best, it's always fun to watch. And this is a great opportunity for her to win, as she's 8.9 second lead on Franziska Preuss. I'd expect that to come down and for Preuss to catch her by the standing. Magnusson, not quite as strong of a skier as Preuss, but certainly capable of catching Vera at 9.5 seconds back. But I would expect the German to catch the Italian by the time we enter the final shooting round.
Elvira Öberg has fought back well. She's up into 5th, 17.8 seconds down though, just ahead of her. Julia Simon also with 2 penalty loops to her name. Anna Magnusson and Dorothea Vera, the only 2 in the top 5 to shoot clean.
Yeah, as we go into the final shooting of a mass start, I always try to look from the splits coming in. How many people are within a penalty loop back? Because that's the most likely. You're not going to have, you're not likely to have Vera, Preuss, and Magnusson and Simone all to miss more than one shot. Somebody's going to hit 4 out of 5 or better. So then, if you look at who's still in that picture right now, is Vanessa Voigt. That's about it right now. Tannheimer back, 27 back. She had a miss in that stage. And Lujan Minot is 30 back and has 2 misses on the day. So it's really coming down now to the likelihood that Vera, Preuss, Magnusson, or Simone should be the leader. And Elvira Öberg is within a penalty loop as well.
Dorothea Vera, the discipline winner in the mass start in the 2019-2020 season. But no victories in this event since the 22-23 season. Elvira Öberg in the yellow bib, 13.8 seconds now.
And it's 4 seconds she's made on Vera. She's coming back.
Don't rule her out of this yet. Lujan Minot into 8th, also had to travel 300 metres around the penalty loop. And there you can see Bréchard Boucher down in 13th. Just behind her, Suvi Minkkinen. Norton and Anna Clive dropping down 17th, 18th.
Just 4 clean shooters left. Vera at the top of the board. Magnusson in 3rd. Voigt is clean as well for Germany. She's 22 back. And Stremos from Moldova is clean as well. She's 37 seconds back in 12th place. So Preuss with a miss, Simone with 2, Öberg with 2. But that tells you that Simone is skiing the best she has this week.
She has been passed though by Elvira Öberg. You can see the yellow bib just move around the outside of Simon. The next athlete in her sights will be her teammate Anna Magnusson.
The situation just requiring so much self-confidence coming in to shoot your final stage. Preuss has now closed the gap. She had a 8.9 second gap from the first shooting stage, and she's closed it up as suspected. And so has Elvira Öberg nearly. She starts 17.8 seconds back, now sitting about 10 back, so probably half of that gone.
And I think she'll come through this checkpoint in third. It's so hard to judge between her and Anna Magnusson, but I think she's just edging it as they come up the wall. Preuss in second, 1.2 seconds, and there is Elvira Öberg. She's 8.6 down on Dorothea Viera, but she has fought back incredibly well with one shooting stage to go.
Jean Minot trying to get back, keep in contact for that yellow bib fight with Elvira Öberg, trailing by 25 seconds now.
And Tannheimer, well, she has her sights set on a second flower ceremony in as many days.
Minkinen's energy starting to falter late in this mass start. It's been a huge emotional week for her, coming off her first podium yesterday in the sprint competition, her birthday today. And now a battle for the win.
And what an excellent one it will be. Dorothea Viera leading Franziska Preuss. And, well, an exceptional job to work her way back up into third is Elvira Öberg. Heading towards shooting stage 4, a final standing shoot, where it could all change. Dorothea Viera, clean shooting so far, leading Franziska Preuss into the range for the final time. They're being hunted down by Elvira Öberg.
Statistically, all three athletes pretty much a dead tie on shooting percentage from standing. 84 for Elvira Öberg, 84% for Franziska Preuss, 85% for the Italian Viera. So it's all things equal for the win.
The rate at which Elvira Öberg has closed the gap is quite something. Just 6.4 seconds, the difference as they come into the range for the final time. Dorothea Viera leading the way. There's a miss from Viera. Preuss 3 for 3. So it'll be once around the penalty loop for Viera and Preuss. Elvira Öberg 3 for 3. 4 for 4. Simon goes clean. And Öberg is clean as well. Magnusson clean.
So Simone is going to take the lead, and she's going to have a little bit of a gap, but is it enough to hold off Öberg?
Tannheimer as well. What a brilliant shoot from the youngster. The teenager picks up her poles and she's away, followed closely by Jean Minot wearing the red bib. Voigt clean as well. This is for Richard Davidova. Hauser with a miss on the final shot. The cheers for Suvi Minkinen, who goes clean with her final shoot on her 30th birthday.
I'm going to put her in the top 10, which is a place she would have been happy with for sure before yesterday when she got third, but still a great weekend for Minkinen on the range. But now after the shooting stage 4, you've got Öberg and Simone ahead in first and second. Magnusson 8 seconds back, then 10 seconds further back to Viera and Preuss. Can they catch Magnusson for a podium position?
Well, it has all changed at the top. Elvira Öberg. Five seconds behind Julia Simon. So after a roller coaster week for Julia Simon, this would be a brilliant performance from the French woman to come back, fight her way back to a podium.
I was going to say the statistics don't stand in Simone's favor. She's a 5% slower on the track so far exhibited this week statistically to the woman who just caught her. Elvira Öberg made up that 5 seconds on Simone like it was nothing as they head into this final lap.
Elvira Öberg, she's wearing the yellow bib, but is yet to taste a victory here in Kontiolahti. Consistent with her podiums, a second and a third. Breathing down the neck of Julia Simon. And Magnusson, wearing 26. We have two Swedes on the podium. Dorothea Öberg finding herself 10 seconds behind Magnusson coming out of shooting.
Simone continues to lead. I think she should just sit back. Maybe a little worried that if she lets Öberg by, she won't be able to match the pace. Now, can Öberg, as she goes by her, make it a resounding pass? Want to stick a dagger in the situation.
Well, Magnusson is being chased down by a pack of four.
And there is your answer. Look at the gap opening up. Elvira Öberg, just more power than Simone. Simone is going to see the victory ski away from her, and Öberg in position now to take her first win of the season.
That's a brilliant comeback, having missed two. Elvira Öberg skiing incredibly well. No one really able to match her in terms of that pace. Suvi Minkkinen just about holding on to that 10th spot. Top 10 finish today. Would top off the weekend quite nicely. She does, however, have the winner of yesterday's sprint race, Davidova, right on her shoulder.
Davidova with a nice recovery. 2 misses in the first shooting stage, 3 on the day. She moves back up into the top 10. Not going to get a victory, but just doing some damage control in the overall World Cup standings.
And here we are with the leader. A decisive move around Julia Simon. And Elvira Öberg, you can see, well, she just took a little bit of a look over her shoulder there. She can see the athletes coming up that slope.
Besides taking her first win of the year, though, she's actually putting that yellow bib in a nice encasement of a trophy case as she hangs on to it, kind of extending her lead of that World Cup bib.
Well, we could have, and it looks like we will have, quite the battle for the final spot on the podium here. Anna Magnusson has been caught by the group behind, which includes Tannheimer, Preuss, Dorothea Öberg, Voigt in there, and Lou Jean-Minot just off the back, as Elvira Öberg goes through 11.9k, 7.2 seconds ahead of Julia Simon. And
we're about to see what kind of fight Tannheimer has. She's the only person we don't really know. We know Preuss can finish fast, and she moves to the lead of this group.
How hungry is the youngster who is right on her heels, wearing bib 14. She's just 19 years old. Impressing so much at Junior World Cups over the course of World Championships, even over the course of the last 3 years. Here's the red bib holder who will be freed of that bib this afternoon.
Jean-Minot is fast. She just doesn't have this kind of closing speed. We've never really seen that yet. And it's just unfortunate for her that she can't manage this situation. But now Preuss has a bit of a gap on Tannheimer. It's going to be the three Germans sprinting it out for the third spot on the podium now.
Yeah, what a great day it will be for the German team. Well, this is going to be an excellent push to the finish line, as Tannheimer just gets passed by Vanessa Voigt. But here is your winner today in Kontiolahti, her first win of the season. 3 individual podiums, and now she has her victory. The yellow bib will stay on her shoulders. Elvira Öberg, what a brilliant fight back, taking victory in the mass start. Julia Simon looks over her shoulder. She's done enough to take second. But here's the battle for third. Franziska Preuss, will this be her first podium of the weekend after coming so close? It will be. Preuss has finally done it. A fourth, a fifth, and now a third. And Luke Jean-Minot over the line in eighth. She just let it get away from her with those two misses. The red bib will go to Elvira Öberg. Anna Magnusson gave it absolutely everything. She came across the line in seventh.
Bryce Boucher dropping too many shots in that last couple stages. Had an opportunity to win, but 3 missed shots out of the final 10 from the standing position, which had been the strongest of the 2 for her this week so far, but it let her down today. She drops down to the 9th spot, and the 10th is Davidova, the winner of the sprint. Had 2 misses from the first stage, then went 2 clean stages in a row, and then she's out with a miss on the final. So 1 clean competitor so far across the line. I think it's 1 on the day, or 2 on the day. Anna Magnusson and
Vanessa Voigt. Yeah, the other one. And Chalon coming through in 17th. 4 misses on the day for her. Halverson 19th with 2. Nutten was high up the order alongside Anna Clive, but they have 3 misses each to their names. Romby with 5.
Anna Öberg with 4 misses on the day comes into 24th. We'd be happy to see your sister's name at the top of the ranking now.
And the final race here in Kontiolahti certainly delivered. We had a feeling it might do after the sprint yesterday.
Nyt me oot tässä.
And there is the top 3. And finally, Franziska Preuss on the podium here in Kontiolahti. It's a clean sweep of podium finishes for Elvira Öberg, first, second and third in the individual events. As our final athletes come towards the line. Stolovitz, who of course had such a great day. Finishing 4th in the short individual. The athlete is showing the real consistency this week. Elvira Öberg. And birthday cake for Suvi Minkkinen. Just outside the top 10 today. But a brilliant week for the 30-year-old.
If you're going to have a birthday on a World Cup weekend, it's great to have it in your hometown. But then to come in with your first podium of the season and show up the way that Minkkinen has showed up, she's now she's in it for real in the overall World Cup standings as well. Came into the day 5th in the standings. Should remain around there when we get all the competitors across the line. We'll see what the Cup standings show us. Still waiting for a couple of finishers.
Well, it wasn't top spot today, but we have to say a word for Julia Simon as well.
Here's Deidre Irwin from the United States. She came across the line in 29th place, 5 misses on the day. And one more competitor out there, Regina Emmets of Estonia, has 7 misses on the day, and there she is. Final competitor to the finish line will be celebrating the first victory of the year for Elvira Öberg.
Yeah, not Regina Ermitz's day-to-day after 8th place, a brilliant performance in the short individual, clean shooting, but today 7 misses, 7 laps of the penalty loop. She is the final athlete over the line. The Chad, as we said, a word for Julia Simon, who has had to fight back from so much, having limped over the line with cramp in the relay. And then the first 2 individual events, she struggled through those as well, but she's really bounced back today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was the case with the cramp. It seems like she's overcome it, though. Julia Simone's biggest problem this week is not just the cramp, but she had a lot of missed shots. And today she rectified that. She started with 2 misses to start out, but if you look at the shooting score, she and Öberg basically followed each other through the field. They both missed 1 each in the first 2 shooting stages, and they basically fed off each other, and that got Simone to the podium in 2nd place. And Franziska Preuss, two missed shots, skiing really well, wins that sprint to the finish against her 2 teammates. And I think the big winner, one of the big winners this week is the 19-year-old German Julia Tannheimer. I think that was a pretty mature performance today. It ended up in 5th place, but she's gonna be a winner sooner or later.
Oh, absolutely. 57th in the short individual, 5 penalties, 6th in the sprint, shooting completely clean in the sprint. And just 1 miss, 19 out of 20 today. So 2 flower ceremonies in 2 days for the 19-year-old. And a lot there for those of a German persuasion to get excited about in terms of your youngsters coming through. And we won't be surprised with that consistency, Chad, as she challenges for the blue bib over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I think she absolutely will. She's ironically, she's from the town of Ulm, Germany, which is the spot where pretty much everybody's rifle that everybody's using here is Anschutz's factory. They make the rifles, Biathlon rifles, and she's from that town. The fact that she's a good shooter is kind of ironic that she comes from the town where the rifles are made, but she is a great shot. 19 for 20 today is Tannheimer.
Well, the Swedish supporters have had a lot to celebrate this week. And back out in force once again as we wait for the flower ceremony here in Kontiolahti.
Elvira, first day in yellow, first victory with this yellow jersey. What's the feeling of crossing the finish line, knowing you are the leader at the moment?
I mean, it's amazing. I've actually been really nervous today. I mean, it's kind of a dream come true to even race in the yellow. It's been like something you always looked up to when you were little as well. So to be able to race in it today and have this ski shape and then be able to cross the finish line first, I mean, what to say?
We've seen the ski shape there, but maybe when you had the first misses in the prone, how did you again get back into yourself and do what you did, which was really stunning?
I mean, of course, you never want to end up in that position that you have to like fight for every meter, like fight for every position. And this time also it was like pretty big, like leading group, so it was difficult to like gain that many positions as well. But I know that when I'm in this kind of shape, 2 mistakes is nothing to be all that worried about in the mass start. So I just really try to keep my cool, and I know that I am very good in this situation, shooting next to other girls and feeling strong about it. But you know, you still have to do it and find your focus, and I'm really happy that I managed to do that today.
You should be. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can see there leading the standings in the mass starter course, 90 points going her way after one competition, and for the next mass start she will be wearing the red bib. Will she at that point though still have the yellow bib in her grasp as well? She has been so consistent, the most consistent of all performers across the women's individual events this weekend. And Chad, her comeback today, well, certainly admirable.
Yeah, I think as soon as she hit the clean shooting on the third shooting stage, I thought that, you know, she's in it. She's still in the race despite 2 misses one each in the first 2 shooting stages. She said it herself that she's disappointed, but she knew that she had the ability to come back, and it was never really in that big of a question, especially after the last shooting stage. You knew that she could catch. She could catch Simone and take the win, and she did.
Det är någon som spytt här. Vill du ha bössan på ryggen när du gör intervjuer? Nej, egentligen inte.
So preparations for our final flower ceremony here in Kontiolahti after a brilliant week of action. Plenty of Swedish flags flying high. And Chad, it's a long season, it's a grueling season, and I suppose the key now for Elvira Öberg will be just keeping that momentum and those consistent performances rolling.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's known to be one that her ski form can fluctuate. She gets sick relatively easy compared to some folks that we know that she can have great form and then lose it very quickly with a cold or have to go home. That's happened in the past. She's been second in the overall World Cup standings. She was second in 2022, finished 5th in 23, 7th in 24. So now that she's got the lead and in that yellow bib, she's going to want to be thinking about that overall standing. She's got Lou Jean-Minot a little bit on the ropes right now as far as the standings goes. Jean-Minot drops to 3rd in the overall standings, and Francisco Preuss, another athlete who has never really been in the mix on the overall standings. Her best she's ever finished in the overall was 2021. She was 3rd. Preuss with an opportunity as well, but Preuss, as we said, she has trouble with the luck. She often ends up just off the podium, but maybe she can make 2024-25 her lucky season.
And with plenty of Italian flags in the crowd as well, we hope it won't be too long until we see Lisa Vitozzi back, the overall Crystal Globe winner last season. suffering with a back injury, which has seen her out the start of the season. You just wonder when she comes back in with, you'd imagine it would have to be some incredible, quite incredible comeback for her to take the overall Crystal Globe, but just how much her presence might affect some of the discipline titles and standings.
Yeah, it certainly is a disappointment for the sport to have Elisa Vitozzi gone, because you want to see all of the stars in the sport start the first weekend and race through the year. But I have to say, I mean, Vitozzi tried very hard, racing a full season last year to take the victory. It was a tight fight for the victory, even when she started and began at the beginning of the season and raced the whole calendar. I think with Elvira Öberg at 230 points already and Vitozzi have yet to score a point, it's going to be pretty tough for Vitozzi to come back, and she's going to need some adversity to happen to both to Elvira Öberg, Francisco Preuss, and Lou Jamineau with the points they've already accrued ahead of her with her being absent, especially if Vitozzi misses an and C. Then Vitozzi's just racing for the World Championships, I think, at that point.
You do imagine, though, her presence, picking up a couple of wins here and there, you know, that can change the standings, and that can really stir the pot in terms of other people's races and their seasons, which is always, and, you know, potentially as well with, of course, we hope our best wishes going to Ingrid Landmark Tandervols. We hope it won't be too long until she's back in the mix as well. Of course, when they come back, they'll want to be performing at the top level, challenging for the podiums. Potentially taking some points away from those who are in those yellow bib positions.
Yeah, I mean that is the life of a world-class athlete. Is you come into the season, you deal with what you have to deal with, and then you readjust your goals and your focus based on what is your reality. Now, Elisa Vitozzi is probably very focused on winning and defending her World Cup Crystal Globe, but now probably not the most critical focus for her. She can adjust her focus to, you know, honing her shape and making sure that she's ready for the World Championships, and maybe make a big statement at the World Championships.
The last World Championships before the Winter Olympics, which will be, of course, held in her home country as well. So, getting back to that strength and that form. And, of course, high on the top of the list.
This will be the first Olympics in quite some time. Well, I think the first time ever where the Olympics are happening at a site that has been established for many years as a Biathlon World Cup site. It will be in Antolz, Italy, where we'll be in late January, and Antolz is an annual stop on the World Cup, and it also will be the Olympic venue. And the familiarity, it's going to be a new thing, because normally they're trying a new venue out at the Olympics, and they won't have to do it. All these athletes know Antolz. They're going to be very familiar with it, and nobody more familiar with it than Elvira. She lives right there.
And there she is as well, Dorothea Vela. 6th today.
Thank you. Good job as well.
Yeah, today was a pretty amazing race, considering that the flower ceremony was separated by 1/10 of a second from Vera Madison in 6th and 7th. Through 25 seconds to 7th, 56 seconds to 10th. Really a tight field.
So our final flower ceremony here in Kontiolahti. What a bumper week of action it's been. 8 days here in Finland's East Karelia region. And a brilliant race to end on. You can hear the shouts from the French fans. Been some of the noisiest fans over the course of the week. Franziska Preuss. She comes so close to the podiums in the sprint and the short individual. And finally, Kontiolahti steps up to the podium, taking third in the mass start. And showing some really good consistency in early season form. Julia Simon has had to overcome a lot of adversity this week. But it all came together today. She couldn't quite hold on for the victory. Takes the silver medal and second place in the women's mass start. But the most consistent of all this week, Elvira Öberg. A third place finish, a second place finish, and now top spot. She keeps hold of the yellow bib. Momentum certainly in her favour as we start to look towards Hochfilzen next week as we travel south. Your final podium here in Kontiolahti. Elvira Öberg taking top spot, Julia Simon second, and Franziska Preuss a brilliant third place for Germany. And the success for the Germans, well, it continues, and the success for the teenage sensation, Julia Tannheimer. A second flower ceremony in as many days. Vanessa Voigt coming in just ahead of her in fourth, and Dorothea Wehrle rounding out the flower ceremony. Didn't quite hold on to the victory, but 19 out of 20 for the Italian, sixth place for Dorothea Wehrle.
Congratulations.